road to the Old Baptist Church. So what is stop number 2? Yes, we didn't even make it stop number 2. I couldn't. So, all right, stop number 2, Primitive Baptist Church. So let's go check that out.
And after all that setup, I do apologize. I appear to have completely missed the Primitive Baptist Church. So instead, what we will be looking at is the Methodist Church. Also, as pretty as this land is, and you really should drive through and see it sometime, I'm going to cut out all the driving scenes just so you guys can see the buildings. Otherwise, this video is going to be an hour and a half long.
Let's go see it then.
Lots of ravens up in here, being ravens. Clock Orbeez. J.D. McCampbell was a blacksmith and carpenter and built the Methodist Church in 115 days for $115. He later served as its minister. The 2 doors on the church are there because the church borrowed the building plans of another church that did divide its congregation by gender. However, the Methodist Church did not.
Forward church. Lots of pews, which would suggest many, many people in this area. A piano up in here.
There's a hymnal, Bible.
Now, I don't know how many of those books are original and how many they've had to replace over the years for ambiance. But, you know, goodly amount of light comes in. And then over here's a cemetery where some of the settlers are. So yes, that's the Methodist Church. Primitive Baptist Church is back behind us and on the left. And I don't think I'm going to circle back around to find it. It's a lovely day. I mean, it's 2 hours on from when we first got here because it took some time to reorganize my kitchen. It's just beautiful. It's a lovely drive. I recommend it. For a nice bucolic kind of day. How often do you get to use that word in a sentence? On the left, this is the Missionary Baptist Church. So let's see what that's about.
There's a little cemetery off to the side of this church as well. Presumably for the members who lived in this cove but attended this Baptist church instead of the other Baptist church.
Lots of Baptists back in this region, but fewer Methodists. So the whole region itself was pretty much, you were either Methodist or you were Baptist. So the Missionary Baptist Church was a group of Baptists expelled from the Primitive Baptist Church because they favored missionary work. They formed the church in 1839. It also did not meet during the Civil War and resumed activity after the war without members who had been Confederate sympathizers. This building dates from 1915. And there was a Sunday school in 1898 that continued until the church closed in 1944. And here you go. That other church was a Methodist church. This is a Baptist church. And you know what? I've been in Baptist churches. They look just like this. And entrance off to the side for the pastor and the officiants and possibly the outhouse, who knows. They got a Bible set up here too, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, these are papers, but are they from this church? Hard to say. Somebody's left some chick tracks up here. And there's graffiti everywhere, what a surprise. Kind of sacrilegious in my opinion, but... Yeah, and this book's from 2009, well after the church closed. Anything down in there? More graffiti. Oh well. With hard wooden pews. Hard wooden pews for the choir. Let's see where this door goes. Let's see if they'll let me see where this door goes. It goes that side. Not a surprise. That's a good breeze through the building, though. But there's more of the cemetery for you. Looks like the next stop on our trail is probably our next stop is going to be the Cable Mill Historic Area and Visitor Center, which I am grateful for because I'm pretty sure they have a bathroom. Families with kids on vacation. And you know what? If you're wanting to teach your kids some history, this is the way to go. Bring them to a place where the things happen so that they can look at it and touch it and imagine themselves being there. I mean, as it turns out, I love history and I can walk up and touch it. Man, I was not a history kid in school, though. Wanted no part of dusty old books that talked about battles and who won. The problem with battles and winning them is that it means that somebody loses them. And true to the national park system, anything you bring in, you gotta pack back out with you. So all the trash I pulled together while I was cleaning out my car, I gotta find a trash can, but it's all the way outside the park. We got plates from Wisconsin, from Tennessee, from Illinois, from Alabama, Texas. My plate's from South Dakota. We got some Arkansas, some Georgia, some South Carolina. Now, according to this booklet, the Dan Lawson Place, Dan Lawson built his home in 1856, so the building we're about to go look at, 1856, on land bought from his father-in-law, Peter Cable, whose home stood to the west across the stream. The brick chimney, unusual for the time and locale, was built of bricks made on the site. Lawson owned a swath of land starting at the Tennessee-North Carolina line on the mountain crest to the south, and coming down the mountain and across the cove and north to the top of Cade's Cove Mountain. The original house of hewn logs was built before sawmills came to the cove, but an examination shows that sawed lumber later was used in additions and maintenance. The small building closest to the house is a granary, and the other is a smokehouse. So let's go check those out. This big old outbuilding back here. This to me looks like the kind of barn you would have put horses in a tractor and that kind of thing in. Had a tin roof at one time. I don't think that is much of anything now. And I don't think they want you going back in it because it looks like parts of it are falling down. But we'll come look at it. Yeah, this was once the sawmills existed. But yeah, you would have kept horses and livestock and whatnot back in here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. How about this for a family homestead, eh? It kind of blows me away that the Park Service
1930s, the New Deal, or however that worked out, just decided we're going to claim all of this for the United States government. And I mean, I appreciate that they did, because now I can come and I can see it. But man, what a choice.
Like I said, do bears sleep at night? Because I might want to come back in here and see stars. There wouldn't be any light pollution. But if bears are up walking around at night, I don't want to become a bear snack. So maybe not stargaze from back here. And from what I read, the Smoky Mountains does not allow you to disperse camp. I suspect that's because of the presence of black bears. But I could be wrong.
The Tipton Place was built by Colonel Hamp Tipton, who owned property in Cade's Cove, but actually lived in Tuckaleechee
Must be
Cove.
somewhere they stored something, because these are not full walls. I don't know what this was, but if you had to shelter here and take a nap, you could. At least keep the rain off your head.
He had this house built in the early 1870s. Among those who lived in it were his daughters Miss Lucy and Miss Lizzie, who taught school in the Cove, and the James Macaulay family. The Macaulays rented the place in the 1870s before James bought land and built his own house. The blacksmith shop that James used here stands nearby in the hollow. The long shed on the opposite side of the house sheltered bee gums. There's a smokehouse and a woodshed in the front yard.
This would be a nice porch, so look at this. You could just sit out here in the morning on a bench, enjoy some coffee, not listen to all the cars go through. Be able to see that patch of sky there. The hearth here is gorgeous. Got a blackboard in here, like maybe it was used for teaching school at one point. Too bad though, look at these houses and I try to figure out where I'd put my furniture. This room here had its second door all to itself. I wonder why. What were they keeping in here? Let's see if these stairs are any more conducive to going up. Yeah, they feel a little steadier. Dude. Ooh, except for that one. Talk about your master suite. Got two windows up there. Little door section off the second area. I don't know if the whole family slept here or not. Another little outbuilding right over here.
And on the other side of the road is a double pen corn crib and a cantilever barn, which is a replica of an earlier one that used to stand in that same location.
Oh, there's a little creek running through here too. I don't know if you can see that out back of the house there. Trickle of water. It runs right under that patch of road there. Check it out. Another granary, I'm guessing, based on the design.
is the barn. Look at that. Check that out there. That over there. This area down here. These would all fold down, it looks like, if they needed to. Maybe not. It's hard to say. Look at that construction though. Old wagon. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is cool. That stream's right down there somewhere. That is heckin' cool. I'm glad I walked over here. There they are. Sitting there minding our milky business. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for this video. Thanks for joining me on this driving tour of Cade's Cove. I'll see you next video.